3.
Hey, howdy. And welcome to my stream. Jesus. Forgot to mute the other side. Hope everybody's had a great day. I've had another hot one. Not as hot as a couple days ago, but man, it's still 112 degrees. And that's hot. Hey, ERR videos, how you doing? I'm on time today. I got to set up some more streams, but I am on time today. I got to make up my mind. I think I'm going to have a cheeseburger for supper. Scott's going to cook it up. He's thinking maybe some fries, but man, I don't want any fries. It's still too freaking hot. It's just too freaking hot. Yep. But I am punctual today. By golly gee. Had somebody text me a chart for Karen Crud for his volt-ohm meter. Anybody with a kindergarten enrollment and passing kindergarten can use a meter like that. I mean, he's not going to understand. The guy's too stupid. He's just plain flat too stupid to even be able to read the instructions. You know, what does what. And he's not bright enough to be able to turn the knob and put in the two probes, you know. I mean, Jesus, God almighty. Anybody can use a volt-ohm meter. A first grade child can use a volt-ohm meter. You don't have to be intelligent to use a volt-ohm meter. Jesus, God almighty. Anyway, I'm not sending that moron anything. I don't watch his streams. I don't watch anything he does. He's an idiot in my estimation. In my opinion, he's too stupid to breathe. So there you go with that. I still have to get, I've got to get somebody out here to do maintenance on this grandmother clock. It's on the hour, is still almost 5 minutes off. Just the way it is. But I've got other clocks, and I've got a watch on my wrist, and I've got a phone with the time on it. I got a computer with the time on it. It's no big deal. That's going to cost me well over $100 just to get somebody to come out here. I can't get the idiot. It's an old goat, and I can't get him to answer a phone call, which means I've got to go in and talk to this idiot. I can't stand or walk, so I can't take the works out with me. And I'm not going to allow Scott to do it because I don't want him to mess anything up. So, just saying. Like I said, 112 degrees today. It's hot. It's just freaking hot. I've put up some some YouTube shorts over this lizard. I think I've put enough of them up. I'm not going to keep putting them up. I've got like 6 of them now that are full grown and all full colored, green and blue with black around their neck. They're very difficult to even catch to video. Because you have to get close to them. Hey, Big Ben, howdy, howdy. I'm hot. I am freaking hot, man. It is hot here. I can't wait until August gets here. Oh, Jesus. I mean, this last week it was 121.4 or something like that degrees. God almighty. And August would be the hottest part. This is monsoon season. Haven't got a drop of rain. I put up the shorts on the last 2 times that I've had rain, September and November of last year. The rest of the time, it's all drought conditions. So, well, I hope you enjoyed them, Ben. I mean, shorts are not hard to make. You just have to do it once and then you got it. They're not difficult to make. So the neighbor has a dove nest up there, male and female, and I've got a couple of amorous doves out here that are they've already hatched out eggs, and I've got two new doves, male and a female. I thought they were both males, but they're not. It's male and a female. And they're a little bit on the amorous side, so they're setting up there. They're re-nesting with, rebuilding the nest. And this poor lady next door, she doesn't know it. And it's on her downspout, right where the downspout hits the side of the house. And they're making a poo-poo mess on the wall. Goodness. But she'll figure it out. I don't know. I'd like to talk a little bit about training. Firefighter training. I've covered it a little bit. I'm not going to get really deep into it because I've had training for all the way up to move it. Come on, move it. Thank you. I've had all the way up to arson investigations. How you can walk into a house and tell if it was electrical fire, if it was if you imagine that it could be arson to begin with, then there had to be an accelerant used, and then you got to figure out, where the accelerant was put, and then you're given like paint cans, empty, never used paint cans, and they got the pound-on lid just like a regular gallon paint can, and you have to tear up part of the wood where you think the accelerant's been used. You put it in that gallon paint can and you hammer that top shut. Leave it set for a day or two and then go back. And then you have to take the top off of that can, and then you have to smell it. And now these are old ways of doing this. What it is anymore, I don't have a clue because I've not had the training for a firefighter for years. Or for arson. If you're looking at a house, you walk into the house and you look and you're looking at the walls. Now this is if the house isn't burned to the ground or to the foundation, the fire was put out. You look around at the walls. if you think it may have been electrical short, electrical fire, start looking at the plug-ins, and you'll see if it started at a specific plug-in, you're going to have burn marks up the wall from that plug-in. I mean, it's just all common sense. You know, it's all common sense. I've had training mass with like I've said the last couple of streams with SCBA on, and I mean, you got to have SCBA on with turnout gear. And now again, this is for a firefighter, not for hazmat. You got to have SCBA on because of smoke inhalation. Most people die from smoke inhalation. They don't die because they were burnt to death. How you locate a body, and they'll take duct tape, and they'll take you've got a full face mask on with a spider web top, so that you can't bump or knock that off. And it goes across the top of your head and the sides of your head right above your ears, and then once again above that, between that and the top of your head. And you've got straps that you pull up tight on each one of those for adjustment, so your face is completely sealed off. And they use for training, they'll use duct tape on the plastic front. Location of bodies, Nomex gear. Like I've still to this day got Nomex gloves that I use for baking. You wear a Nomex hood for being a firefighter. You have to go by what your your fire chief tells you to do. You have a oh God, what did they call it? It's a little thing on your shoulder that if you stop moving, it'll start sounding an alarm, a ringing alarm, like bells alarm. I can't remember what the hell they even call that. It's been so damn many years. How to refill a pumper out of a water supply, like a river or a swimming pool, or, you know, if you need water, you need water. There's ways of looking at a house fire and the way they're attacking and going at that house fire. You can stand back, not be involved at all. And depending upon what they're doing, you can tell if they're it's a controlled burn and they're just going to let it burn all the way to the foundation, or if they're actually trying to put it out. You know, they answer questions in training like, well, what the hell? The place is on fire and you guys go up on the goddamn roof and you take axes and chop a hole in the top of the roof. What's the deal? Well, that's to ventilate the smoke out of the house. It's to keep from getting a flashback. If a house is on fire, you don't walk up, turn the doorknob, and open the door. You've got to ventilate that fire to get that pressure and that heat and that smoke up out of that house, so that when you gain access through the door, you don't get a flashback. Passport. Yeah, it's called a passport. Thanks, Abe. It's called a passport. Thanks for that. That sits up on your shoulder, and if you stop moving, you get little bells go off, and they can hear you. There's been a couple of pretty good movies that have been put out where firemen were trapped in the bottom floor of a building, and they burnt to death. They physically burnt to death. But that little thing on your shoulder, and you could hear that in the movie. It's like the little bells going off. It's called a passport. But it's been, like I said, man, it's been years and years and years and years. And you have to be physically fit. You got to know what turnout gear is. You got to know what gear to wear. You have to have radio communications between yourself as a regular firefighter and the captains and chiefs. You can have more than one fire department there. It's called a MABUS call out. You can have several fire units called out depending upon the fire. And anyone, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I don't care if you're a female or you're a male, if you're physically fit and you're young, you can become a volunteer firefighter. And if you have children that are teenagers, you need to get them in that program. There's programs for kids that do that. You can actually make a career out of this and become, instead of a VFF, volunteer firefighter, you can become a paid firefighter. You owe yourself and your community and your loved ones that. After all, you know, I've heard a lot of people, especially police officers, claim, well, they're heroes. No, the hell they're not. Police officer isn't a hero. He can do heroic acts, but doesn't make him a hero. The heroes don't run out of a burning building. They run into a burning building to save lives. That's what a hero does. And they don't have to be a firefighter to do that. My husband tried his best. There was a woman running down the street. He was in doing plumbing, putting in plumbing in houses, in track houses, what they call track houses. Here's this woman running naked down the street screaming, my baby's gonna burn alive. Help me, help me. Somebody runs out with a sheet and gives her a sheet, and he says, where? My husband says, where? And she turns and points, and it's, you know, half a block, 3/4 of a block down the street. No, he wasn't a firefighter. He was a plumber. The house was fully engulfed. The fire department, after all the shit was over, before the arson investigators got in there, blamed this child for this fire. Said she was playing with matches, probably. And that's what they listed it as, until the arson investigator got in there. What does a child do when they're scared, people? What do? They hide, right? Yeah, they hide. The house caught on fire. It was an electrical short in the wall. It was electrical fire. And she got scared. The smoke started filling up in her room, and she hid in the closet. And you could hear her screaming in there. My husband broke the back window out of the back door and went in and crawled on his belly through broken glass, getting cut to shreds, trying his best to get to the room that she was in, and he didn't know which room she was in. And the smoke was so heavy that you couldn't see but about maybe an inch off the floor. So you're breathing that air an inch off the floor to boot. He didn't have SCBA on. He didn't have turnout gear on. He had his work clothes on. He had jeans on with work boots and a t-shirt with a long sleeves shirt over the top of it. He crawled down the hall as close as he could get, and the fire and the heat and the smoke was so bad, he couldn't go any farther. And he could still hear this little girl screaming, crying, and he couldn't find her, and he couldn't go any farther. So instead of becoming part of the problem, he turned around in the hall on his belly and he crawled back out. He couldn't find her. The fire department gets there. I'm talking about a fully engulfed fire, a fully engulfed house with fire. Fire department gets there. They've got all their turn-on gear and all this crap on. They go in after, and this is after they're trying to put this fire out because they know there's a victim in there. So they're shooting as much water through the windows as they can to put this fire, knock this fire down. They got a guy on the roof that's already chopped a hole in the roof. They've got ladders across the roof. Why did they put ladders across the roof? To get to the peak, to chop the peak, so you don't fall through the frickin' roof, because the fire it's fully engulfed and you don't know how far up it is. You can see it coming out of the windows, the fire, the smoke. So they send firemen in there with charged 4-inch lines. After busting out the windows and shooting water into the windows to knock this fire down, the guy comes out and it's still so hot in there. The guy comes out in his full turnout gear. He jumps through the picture window and he's got this little girl in his arms and she's burnt black. And she has no fingers, no toes, and no face, no hair, no clothes. And she's on fire, and he threw her down on the grass. And they put out the body, and she was dead. My husband had PTSD over that. And he also fought in Vietnam. He had PTSD over that. I can tell you stories of crap that happened to my husband when he was in Nam. Trump said, "Is his name Abe?" What are you talking about? My husband's name was Bob, Robert. I'm not married to Abe. Trump said, "Are you stupid?" I was married in 1971. Abe wasn't even a twinkle in his daddy's eye in 1971. Jesus. And if I took what you said incorrectly, then correct me. But anyway, that's what happened there. My husband had PTSD over that. He died with that PTSD. And he died with the PTSD from Vietnam. And I can repeat, I know your husband's name was Bob. Abe will be telling everyone he did it. Thank you for the clarification. Yeah, my husband's name was Bob. And of course, he had the same last name as me. And he was a master plumber. And he was called all over Illinois to repair antiques, antique faucets, antique showers, antique tubs, stuff like that. Hey, same old, welcome. But you see that. And I mean, my husband's arms were cut to shreds. The insides of his arms from crawling down that hall through that broken glass. Hey, Guido. To hear a child in there screaming and crying, and you just can't go another foot, and you can't find the right room. If you think a fully engulfed house that's on fire is quiet, think again. You've got everything on fire. You've got all the wind turbulation coming in and going up. They've already knocked the freaking windows out and tried to knock this fire down enough they could get a fireman in there. Fire is not quiet. Some of the crap that he told me was, and he could, when I met him, he could fluently speak the Vietnamese language. Where did your wife make you go today? Hey, Rebel City Review, welcome. Hope you're doing well too. Anyway, he could fluently speak the Vietnamese language. And I met him just as he was returning home from Nam. And he spent a year in Alaska, up in an isolated remote up by the circle, Arctic Circle. Some of the stories, he had a guy the guy that taught him the Vietnamese language, and he in turn taught the guy enough English that they could communicate. He told me stories about how the guy that was in Nam, the Vietnamese guy, how he escaped. He told me how they tortured people. He told me about riding in a Jeep. And I mean, this is back in the 70s. Okay. He was out in 60. That's when we got married, was in the 70s. Oh my God. I've got that pair of birds in the front yard again. God almighty, they've come through the gate and they're up in my front yard. Anyway, I'm not going to open the door and scare them off. He told me how this guy said that he was tortured, and told me where he had all the burn marks. They love to use water and electricity. They hang you by your thumbs. They have these. If you take like a ski rope, a nylon ski rope, and you push it together to make it bigger, and shove your fingers in there and then pull it out tight, that's how they hang you by your fingers. They put bamboo shoots underneath your fingernails. They pull your fingernails out and your toenails out. They use electric. They string you up by your fingers like that, so just your toes touch in the water on the floor, and they strip you naked, and then they burn you with electricity all over I'll put it this way, over specific areas. So he had PTSD over that crap. He was on the front lines. I've got slides at home to prove this stuff. He was in a tent. You couldn't have any kind of a light, even a small flashlight, inside your tent with your window flaps open. And he said it rained all the time. All the frickin' time it rained. When he was up in Alaska, when he did that, he talked about they could only get supplies flown in once a year. And how at Easter time, they would take all the eggs for the Easter time for all the little Eskimo kids, and they'd boil them up and they'd color them, and they'd go out and they'd hide them. He told me about how everything blooms up there through part of the year. It's beautiful. Flowers and all that. And I've got slides also of the barracks where he was, where there was 7 foot of frost. I said frost, 7 foot of frost on the door. Not snow, frost. You couldn't even get in, you know. Anyway, the high today is 112. And because it's after 5, it's like 5:30. It's going down. It's 111.9 right now. So, but anyway, if you're young, male or female, you're physically fit, you want to do something for your community, for your loved ones, you want to keep them safe, look into volunteer firefighting. If you like it, if you're interested in it, you're interested in continuing it, then become an actual firefighter. And I'm not talking about a volunteer now. I'm talking about an actual firefighter. A volunteer is an unpaid position, you know. Become paid. I know several firefighters that are paid. I know them from back in the day in Illinois, and I know some of them with rank. I knew some of them with rank back then. I even, God, I wish I've got my old fire chief's name written down in one of these little book tablet things, excuse me. And I can see him in my mind's eye, but I can't remember his name. It's been too many damn years, and I've not talked about it, and I've not even thought about it. And where the station was located is no longer located there. Did I get my hot dog tonight? Nope, I did not. I did not. Same old, same old. You got a foot-long chili dog with heartburn has arrived. Yep. Yep. I don't know. It's just amazing. You sit and you look back on your life, and I've had people say, if you had it to do over again, would you live your life all over? And I've looked at them. I've had family members ask me this. I've had close friends ask me this. And I'm not talking about YouTube friends. I'm talking about friends that I actually know. And my answer to that is, you're talking about living my life over again. That means I can't change anything. And the answer to that is no. I would not. God, I wished I'd get rid of this cold. Yeah, Tums and Rolaids are good for heartburn, but you're better off taking, in my opinion, you're better off taking Tums because it's calcium based versus Rolaids. Rolaids never worked very long for me. I mean, they would knock it out, boom, right now, but then boom, it would come right back. It was back within 15 minutes, heartburn. So Tums worked much better. Why would you want me to chew your wife out? My goodness. My goodness, same old, same old. I need to go back down to the other Indian reservation for the Wallapai and get another carton of these smokes. These are pretty good smokes. Because her, just like other ladies, made me go around for 6 hours today. Yard selling? Yard selling? You talking about yard sales? You got to go and you spent 6 hours going to all these yard sales? Now you have to realize you can find some damn good deals at yard sales. It depends on what you're going in there for. And you never have less than $100 on you cash. And you want that all in 5s and 10s. Damn yard sellers. Yeah, I know yard sales. Yeah, well, that's all right. You can find some good deals. I mean, hey, I found at a yard sale, believe this or not, a desk with a roll top on it that they wanted, I think, $200 for it at a yard sale, and it just sit there. And I said, no. You don't spend $200 on any damn thing you buy in a yard sale. But it had the old roll top desk, and it was 4 or 5 drawer on the side with the regular desktop. And then up on the top, you had a space for lighting. She'll never use the stuff she bought. Well, some people do that. But she's going to look at it. She's going to think, "Man, I could use that if I was going to do this. I could use that. This is a good deal. And when I do that, now I've got it and I can do that." But then she just never gets around to it. All people do that. Come on. You can find some really good Pyrex baking dishes with lids at yard sales. Iran got bombed a little while ago. Good. That's a good thing. Nah, you just don't know Abe. That's all. I've known Abe since he was 18 years old. Abe's a good guy, Trump said. He really is. You just don't know him. She bought 100 of things to crochet. Guess what? She never used it once. Well, once you got it, you don't have to worry about buying it afterwards. I mean, I wish I had all my grandmother's old boil crochet hooks for thread. I even had a complete set of antique wooden knitting needles, and they're gone. They're just gone. But the boil needles I had came from England. I do not have PTSD from knowing Abe. Absolutely not. Abe is a good guy. You just don't know him. And, you know, he's been attacked quite a bit. And, you know, if you were attacked all the time, you have a right to defend yourself, guys. She bought a set of dog bowls. You don't have a dog. Wow. She know anybody with a dog? She bought them for? Could they be used for cats? I'll tell you one good thing if you have a dog, you need to look for a treat jar, a sealable treat jar. Just saying. No, you're allergic to dogs and cats. Well, I'm allergic to cats, but not dogs. Well, she could. She could flip them for profit, yeah. I give Snowball 2 different kinds of treats. I give her training treats, and I give her the miniature dog bones for her teeth. The miniature training treats, they're little bitty tiny things, probably half the size of your little thumb or fingernail, half the size of that. And they're made from liver. Well, sure, of course Sure, she put the work into flipping it. Come on. If she bought it and then she flipped the sale and made a few bucks on it, that's her money. Greenies, she doesn't like greenies. She never has. When she was younger, I could get her to eat a few of them. They're good for her teeth. I actually brush her teeth with a soft toothbrush. You should see that. I'll have to see if I can set that up one of these days with the camera. She's laundering the money to make it hers. Well, of course. You've heard the old saying Trump said, what's yours is mine and what's mine is all mine. That's what most guys say. But what's yours is half hers. Come on. But I actually do. I have actual toothbrushes. If you go to, and I got these at Walmart. They weren't even in a package. I got them for like 50 cents a piece, and they're soft bristled. And I think I bought 3 or 4 of them for like 50 cents a piece. And I use a special ingredient that I get from the vet for her teeth. And I put that on the brush and I brush her teeth with it. And it's for dogs and cats for their teeth. Gosh, what's her name? what's her name? I can't remember her name right now. DA is her husband. She told me about this stuff, and it not only is it good for removing tartar on their teeth. If they have an infection in their body, that will heal that. If they get a cut on their foot, it'll heal that and prevents infection. So, and I can look at it and tell you what it's called. And I can show you a brush because I got a rubber band around the outside of this thing. You can buy the water version or you can buy the thicker version. You need to get the thicker version. It's like a syrup, thick like a syrup, thicker like a syrup. I got dishes sitting here for my buddy to do. This is the water version. It's called, I'll spell it for you and then I'll show it to you. It's an oral rinse, DENTAHEX, oral rinse. It's oral hygiene rinse. And the damn, this cough, it's gonna kill me. It's called, the actual name of it is chlorhexidine, 12% with zinc. Oops. There's her brush. Real soft bristle. Let me get this off here so you can read it. Great Dane lady. That's her name. Great Dane lady told me about this stuff. This is the water version. It's real thin. And then they've got a thicker version, which stays on the brush better. And it does absolutely take the tartar off their teeth. There you go. There's the actual name of it. If you have a cat or a dog, and it's for cats or dogs, it's for cats or dogs. That's what they told me. Let me put my purple rubber band back on this. So it holds her toothbrush. The Great Dane lady told me about this stuff. And it's got an expiration date on it. And the expiration date on this is February 20th, 26. You can actually squirt some of this after you get the majority of the tartar off. You can actually just squirt this on their tongue, and there is a thing that fits on the bottle. Take the cap off. You're supposed to shake it first, and I can show you that. And you can squirt it on their teeth, or you can just put it on their tongue. You need to check into this stuff. I'm telling you, it's well worth what it costs. Here's the thing that goes on the bottle. Right there. You take the top off and screw that on. So, and I keep this right out here by the sink. Come on. There we go. It's well worth it. Yeah, well, Rick Crude ain't got any teeth. He doesn't have any teeth, but he could put it on his lady part on the bottom of his leg, don't you know? I usually hand wash my dishes and then I put them in the sink. As you saw, I got a sink full. And because I can get the dishwasher open, Scott's got to put them in there because I can't get to the damn dishwasher because I can go anytime. I'm ready, willing, and able. Don't have a problem. I'm going to show you something. If you can find one of these, you're not going to find one in a store. I have a dishwasher, built-in dishwasher. I have built-in garbage disposal. I mean, I live in a really nice house. I really do. I live in a really nice house. This is what I use to make gravy, make lumpless gravy. And this works like $1,000,000. Take your, but this has been hand washed, as you can see the spots on it. And then he's got to put it through the dishwasher. If you called your wife or your dishwasher, I'd slap you too. I'd tell you, you know what? You're her dishwasher. Get the hell out there and get at it. Get the apron on and go for it, bucko. That's what I'd tell you. How do you make homemade macaroni and cheese? You need a recipe. It depends on what kind of cheese you want to use. I like to use a cheddar. And then you make a white sauce with this. Bumpless. I'm telling you. And I bought 2 of these. And you can get them online. It's got the handle. Where the hell's the other one? Here it is. Here's what it's called. I bought 2 of them. Chef Craft. There's what it's called. Of course, it's made in China. Of course. And it's made for basically fish and vegetables, fruits. You put your oil or fat in a fry pan and get it hot. Get a tablespoon. If you're going to make gravy now, get a tablespoon of flour. Put it in there and then take that thing and stir it around. Stir it. Yeah, you can use that for a deep fryer too. Yeah, and it's of course it's made in China. Everything's freaking made in China. Even the damn air fryers are made in China. Yeah, look at the clutter on the yeah, because I can't stand up to put anything away. Bucko. And all the bottom cabinets are full. But that's I've got everything I freaking need. And I've got a lot of these are cleaning supplies. I've got a vaporizer. And a lot of it's cleaning supplies. There's some sitting on the table. I've got the high chairs. They're high chairs. I don't mean high chairs like a kid's high chair, but they're higher. They're high chairs. And I can't stand. I can't even use my damn kitchen table. and I have receipts to go through. I got all kinds of stuff in here. So, and if you don't like it, why the hell don't you get your ass over here and do it for me? How about that? You can meet Scott. Brian. Anyway. Yeah, he's not worth my time. You make another comment and you're out. Make another smart ass comment and you're out. I've got patterns for doilies, thread doilies in a oh, what the hell? I don't know what the hell you call it. You use it when you're in school, only it's a wide one for paper. And I've got plastic inserts in there. It's 1.5 inches. I've got all kinds of I have not been to one yard sale out here. The last yard sale I was at was back in Illinois. And I found that roll top desk. Man, that was a buy and a half. Because I went back to it after somebody called me and said, you know, they never sold that roll top desk. Are you still interested? Go over and offer them $20, take it off their hands. So I went over and offered them 50. And they told me, if you want it, take it. We couldn't sell it. I got it for free. Yeah, people these days sell everything. That's for sure. That's for darn sure. That reminds me, I've got a light in my car. I've got to get 4 batteries for. Light's dead. It's a special little flashlight, really bright. But you know, they'll sell everything. I mean, they'll send clothing. They'll sell clothing. They'll sell underwear, bras, panties, socks, jeans, shirts, t-shirts. I mean, jeans, shirts, t-shirts can be washed. They'll sell shoes. I won't wear somebody else's shoes. Won't do it. Certain things I will not do, and that's one of them. I will not buy somebody else's worn shoes for 50 cents a pair even and put them on my feet. I won't do it. The yard sale, one lady was selling puppies. Really? Huh. I don't know. I've never seen anybody sell puppies at a yard sale. Your wife wanted, what kind of puppies were they? Just for the fun of knowing. $30 a piece? What the hell kind of puppies were they? What breed? Pit mix? Nope, nope, nope. I wouldn't have a pit. Not that pits are bad dogs, but I think that the sire and the dame have a lot to do with how the dog is going to come out. No, I don't want any pits. There are towns that you're not allowed to have a pit, even a pit mix. I mean, I don't know how big your yard is. Well, you couldn't give Rick Crude away, in my opinion. You couldn't do it. You couldn't give Rick Crude away. You'd have to try and pay somebody to take him. Good old Karen Crud. That's what I call him, Karen Crud. Abe would be a hell of a deal, let me tell you. You just don't know him. Yeah, they don't have a good reputation. Pits or pit mixes don't have a good reputation. I think where you wind up in trouble is when you buy purebreds, a pure pit. And I know some dogs, it's all in the way they're raised. I've never seen anybody sell puppies at a yard sale ever. I would not do that. I would not buy a puppy at a yard sale. I don't care what kind of puppy it is. I wouldn't do that. I've seen them in Walmart parking lots giving away kittens. I've seen people selling, trying to sell puppies, and that's out here in Walmart parking lot, but you can't legally do that without permission because that's private property. You got to go in and ask if you can do that, and I know damn good and well they aren't. But some of the pits and pit mixes can be very vicious. I think, like I said, I think the sire and the dame, their temperament and stuff have a lot to do with it. I know I spent $400 from a lady that was selling puppies, and she was a breeder, licensed breeder, and that's where I bought Snowball. Nah, you just don't know Abe, that's all. You just don't know him. He's a damn good guy. He's really smart. You'd be getting a deal if you bought Abe. Just saying. You guys just don't know him. He's been trolled so hard. I've been trolled hard too. But there was a lot of people that trolled the shit out of me that I've forgiven. Not that they asked for forgiveness, but I had forgiven them. Because hate, if you hate, and there are a few people I hate, but hate will eat you up. Just saying, it will eat you up. Yeah, damn good, really smart guy for $1.298. Yeah. No, you'd be getting a deal and a half with that. You just don't get it, Trump said. Oh. Huh. I went in one time for someone that I knew that was out of the country. They lived in Belgium, which was between Germany and, God, I don't know, some other country in Belgium. Because I was talking to her and she said that she went by Cornet Girl. She played a cornet. She said that, I like to ask people in different countries what their stores are like, what are their products like, how different products are sold. Milk over there is sold in a bag, not in a box or a jug. It's sold in a bag. And they only have so many different kinds of cereals. And I think she said it was like 4 or 5 different kinds of cereal. I went into Walmart one day with her on the phone. And I said to one of the ladies that worked there, I said, I'm talking to this lady in Belgium. She lives over in Belgium, Germany. And we were talking about cereal, breakfast cereal. Oh yeah, you can still buy milk in some milk in cartons. You can buy half and half in cartons still here. Other than that, they're all in plastic containers for here. And I told her, I said, Jesus God, they've got a whole aisle full of nothing but cereal here. And I asked this gal that worked there in Walmart, this was years ago, do you mind if I show this lady who lives in Belgium, Germany, what the cereal aisle looks like in the United States? And she looked at me, she said, what? And then I told her, I said, no, here, look, I got her on the phone. They only have 4 or 5 different kinds of cereal over in Belgium, Germany. And I mean, we've got a whole frickin' aisle full of of nothing but sugar-laden frickin' cereal. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Same old, same old. But the lady told me, sure, go ahead. And I did, man. I videoed it. And I said, look at this. I said, you've got every kind of cereal known to mankind in this aisle. It's really crazy. And she just couldn't get beyond that. She thought that was just crazier than hell. You like honey bunches of oats? I like plain old Cheerios or plain, not Frosted Flakes. It comes with, it's got the Raisin Bran. I like Raisin Bran. Raisin Bran or plain Cheerios. I don't want honey and oats. I don't want none of that crap. I want just plain ass Cheerios. Yeah, Lucky Charms are magically delicious. Yeah. My kids used to like Cocoa Pebbles and Fruity Pebbles. God, that's been so many years ago. They like Lucky Charms once in a while, but basically Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Pebbles. That's how old that cereal is. My kids are in their 50s. Yeah, I don't put any sugar on anything, man. No, 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 no. No sugar on anything. I mean, with the Raisin Bran, you've got raisins, you've got natural sugar on raisins. You don't need to put sugar on it. I like hot cereal too. I like the cream of wheat, and I like regular old oatmeal. You know, regular oatmeal. You wish you could find your Rice Krispie Treats cereal? Huh. I don't know. You can find Rice Krispie Treats, but man, that's nothing but frickin' sugar. Oh, I can remember my kids were younger. They loved it. We didn't buy them much stuff with sugar laden stuff. Not good. I don't think it's good for kids. I think it promotes them to be overweight, and kids don't go out and play like we used to when I grew up. We had to be there in the morning when we ate breakfast. And this is like during summer vacation when you didn't have school. We had to be in at noon for lunch, and our ass better be in the house before 5, between 10 to 5 and 5. And we better be in the house when the street lights came on. And the rest of the time we were outside and played. We played all the time. I've never heard of that stuff. Apple, mango, tango, laundry soap. I don't know. I just use Tide HE. What time was bed? For me, it was 9 o'clock at night. For my kids, when they were young in grade school, and they had to go to school the next day, it was 7 o'clock at night. They had to be in the house, fed, bathed, and in bed at 7. Different people raise their kids different ways. I don't know. Was I wrong? I don't know. I don't think so. I know Friday night, when I was a teenager, even Friday night, had to be in the house before I was 18. I think it was 10 o'clock. When I turned 18, it was midnight, Friday night and Saturday night. I let them sleep in if they didn't have school. And I let them stay up a little bit later if they didn't have school. But they needed their sleep. Kids are growing. Growing kids need their sleep. And when they were in school, they had supper, and it was homework. So, just saying. I remember Fruit Loops too. That was a cereal. Yeah, I remember the metal slides at the damn schools. You bet. I remember getting burnt too. When I went to school, you weren't allowed to wear shorts or pants. You had to wear skirts or dresses. That ain't a pile of bullshit. Not even in the winter. I remember getting burned on it. You bet. Yeah. I used to play baseball, man. I loved baseball when I was in grade school. Loved baseball. Guys used to fight over who got me on the team. I was good at it. People usually are good at something they really enjoy. I hated jacks and I hated jump rope and all that crap. I wanted to play baseball. Remember how, I don't know how you guys remember picking people for the teams for baseball, for just a regular baseball game. We used to use the bat. You'd have a team captain that would throw the bat. You'd toss the bat, and then they grab the bat, and the one that could, and then you went hand over hand over hand over hand till you got to the top. And if your if you could put your thumb over the top, you got first pick. And then they picked first, and then the other one got to pick their first, and then the first one got to pick their second, and on and on and on until you were out of people. I had swimming in senior high. I had swimming in senior high school. I can remember when we had to, in order to be able to pass tests in swimming, we had hour classes, and you'd have to float for the hour class, and you couldn't touch the bottom or the sides. Hell, I go to sleep. Float on my back and go to sleep. Put my hands behind my head and cross my legs and just lay there and float. I didn't have a problem. Never had a problem. I could swim underwater the full length of the pool. Or never come up for air. I really enjoyed it. That and baseball. I love swimming. Then we had an in-ground pool in our yard when our kids were growing up. And my kids would get mad at me because I finally told my kids, I said, look, you want friends to come go swimming? I don't care. I don't have a problem with that. But you're going to have them bring a parent or guardian with them. And they have to be outside at all times with that child. And they are 100% responsible for that child's safety. And if they don't want to do that, guess what? Your friends aren't coming swimming. I had people dropping their goddamn kids off on a weekend, and they'd stay the whole damn weekend at my house, and I had to feed them. Bullshit. Oh, I love tennis. Yeah, I love tennis. Hated golf. Absolutely love tennis. But I freaking hated golf. We had to do golf too. I told the teacher, I said, you know, it must take some, and I've told my own son-in-law this, and he almost, at one point, he almost went golf pro. It must take some sort of intelligence and talent to take a metal stick with a flipper on the bottom and hit it and make it go where you want it to go. But you got to be a moron to do this. Yeah, that's what Diane wound up being. And I said that was it. And then when we got in senior high and I'm working, and of course Bob was working, I could have killed my kids when I did this. They skipped the whole senior class at school, skipped. And they were all at my house. And my daughter was fixing hot dogs and soda for the whole senior class. There was nobody at school in the senior class. She invited them all over, and they were up on top of my house. They climbed up my tower, my antenna tower, got up on the roof of the house, and they were running and jumping off the house with about a 6-foot span of concrete between the edge of the house and the edge of the pool, jumping in the damn swimming pool. And I got a call at work. And it was the principal. And I worked in management, and I got paid for a phone call. I picked up the phone call, I answered it, Diane. And here's the principal of the senior high school. And he said, this is Mr. and then gave me his name. Guess what your daughter's done now? That's how I got it. Guess what your daughter's done now? And I said, well, what did she do now? I have no senior class at school. They're all at your house. And I said, well, how do you know that? Well, because I was over there and I entered your property and went around back and caught them, and they all ran in the house. I said, oh, you trespassed on my property? Is that what you're telling me? I mean, I was ticked at my kids, but I was ticked at him too. He didn't have the right to do that. My kids got brand new cars when they were 16. And there was a catch. And I said they had to maintain a B average. That's number one. And they had to take their the oldest one had to take the youngest one to school and pick her up from school and bring her home. And there's 2 years difference apart between them. 2.5 years difference between them in age. So but I told him, I says, you ever come on my property again and I'll have you arrested. And if you think I'm jacking with you, you try me. So when they had the new cars, when my oldest daughter had a new car, she's in senior high school now. She had a pack of Marlboros because, I mean, she's almost 18 years old. She wanted to smoke. She could smoke. Didn't let him drink, but I'd let him smoke when they were 18, almost 18. She had a pack of cigarettes and in the car that were laying in the seat. And she was parked in the he had to pay for a parking spot at school in order to park in the parking lot at school. Yeah, they give you a little ticket thing you had to stick on your windshield. So the principal was out there and he was checking the tickets, I guess, for parking. And he looked in the car and he saw a pack of Marlboros laying there. Well, I didn't smoke Marlboros. She smoked Marlboros. She still smokes Marlboros. And principal calls me up. I always got the same kind of a call every goddamn time he called. I worked in management. Got a thing, you know, Diane pick up line, whatever. I picked it up and it's the principal. Well, guess what your daughter's done now? And I said, what's she done now? Well, I've got her in here in the office and I'm expelling her from school because she has cigarettes in her car. And you're not allowed to have cigarettes on school property. I said, is that right? I said, well, gee, what brand cigarettes might that be? Well, they're Winston's, or no, they're Marlboros. And I opened the car door and I got them out. I said, oh, so you broke and entered into my vehicle? The vehicle's in my name and those are my cigarettes? and you stole my cigarettes and broke into my vehicle. Is that what you're telling me? Cigarettes are not allowed on school property. I said, the car's in my name. The insurance is in my name. It's my vehicle. They're my cigarettes. You opened the car door and entered my vehicle and removed my cigarettes from my vehicle. Is that what you're telling me? And then he started to backpedal. Cigarettes, they're not allowed on school property. Well, he was so damn stupid, they'd stand out front of school and kids would all stand, in big circles, different cliques, they'd stand in different circles. And they were smoking pot. Some of them were smoking pot. I told my kids, I ever catch you smoking pot, I'll beat your ass. And that's the way it's going to be. I told him, I said, you will unsuspend her because you broke into my vehicle and you removed my property from my vehicle, or I'll have you arrested. You will unsuspend her and you will do it immediately. And of course, he's backpedaling big time. Still trying to use it for an excuse. You can't have cigarettes on school property. I said, I have cigarettes on my car anytime I goddamn well want my cigarettes in my goddamn car. They're my cigarettes. I'm over 18 and I'm not a student. And you don't have the right to enter my vehicle. So he unsuspended her. But they were out there smoking pot, a lot of them, and I told my daughter, I says, ever catch you smoking pot, I'll beat your ass, and I don't care how old you are. And somebody had a pack of cigarettes in their pocket. The stupid ass principal would lay on the roof of the school with binoculars, trying to catch these people smoking. And he calls a bunch of them in, and this guy had a pack of cigarettes in his jacket pocket, and the other guys were smoking the pot, had the pot on them, and he says, "You were smoking, and you're gonna get a 3-day suspension for this, smoking on grounds." And the guy that had the pot, he owned the pot. He said, "Well, I guess we're going to get a 3-day vacation then, because what they were smoking was marijuana." But he had says, "I want the cigarettes and I want them now." And he just happened to had a package of cigarettes with a couple cigarettes left in it. And he took them out of his pocket and flipped them on the desk of the principal. There you go. They got by with smoking pot. Well, that takes some real stupidity. I've never smoked pot in my entire life. I would not. I just can't. I can't do it. And I've got doctors telling me, that'd be pretty good pain relief for you. I said, no, I won't do it. I just can't do it. Won't do it. People that want to do it can do it. I'm not going to do it. What gets me is out here, the stupid malfeasant pigs out here, and that's what they are. Stupid, malfeasant, dirty cops are nothing but pigs in my book. If you got you got these air fresheners you can buy out here. They're like trees. They want to search your car if you got one of those tree air fresheners hanging on your mirror because they claim that's a cover up for dope. I got to get a couple of them and hang them in my car. Wait to get pulled over. I keep waiting to get pulled over and they won't pull me over. I think it's going to be funny. They're going to say, well, I want permission to search your car. And I'm going to say, nope. Well, we'll get a drug dog. Well, go ahead. Call your puppy. They can't keep you waiting. They legally cannot keep you waiting for an extended period of time on a traffic stop for a drug dog, for a free air sniff. They can't do it. Not here. And I'm not giving legal advice either. But they can't do it. They can only, on a traffic stop, they can only keep you for about 20 minutes max. They can't keep you there an extended period of time and prolong the stop in order to be able to get a canine. And canines are wrong about 60% of the time to boot. And they can't be cross-examined on a witness stand. And you can beat that charge without a problem. You just have to hire an attorney. Out here, anyway. No, you keep picking on Abe. Abe is okay, Trump said. I'm telling you, he's okay. You can believe what you want. You can feel how you want to feel. I'm not telling you can't, but you're incorrect. I'm just saying. Yep. Oh, I'll bet you were same old, same old. Hey, I can remember when I was a kid, we used to keep alcohol in the the cops are so stupid. We used to keep alcohol in the container for the windshield washer fluid. And then we took the tap for that and pulled it on the inside of the car. So whenever we wanted to drink, we'd hold it over a pop bottle and shoot it in with some pop. Hit the windshield washer and it'd shoot it in there. Cops would never catch us. They're too stupid. That's what they are. They're too stupid. I've got 2 speeding tickets in my life. One was trying to get to my kids to private school and get to work on time and not be late. And the other one was doing 85 and a 55. What the hell? I was on Harrison Avenue? Harrison Avenue, I think, yeah. And I paid the tickets. But that's not bad for a 76-year-old. 2 speeding tickets in your lifetime. And that was so many damn years ago, I couldn't even tell you what year it was. I have a clean driving record. I do not speed. No. I remember when I was out here in 2019, and they had the restriction you had to be in off the road by dark because of the C word. And I'm not even sure you can even say the C word on YouTube yet. You know, the 2019 C word. You had to be in by dark. You had to be at home by dark. No road traffic. And I go to my daughters and son-in-laws. They'd say, you better get going. I said, yeah. You know, I go over there for dinner or whatever. Or go over there to play pool. They have a beautiful home with a regulation pool table. And there was a few times I didn't make it home by dark. But I didn't give a damn. I thought, let them go ahead and stop me. I don't give a shit. They never stopped me. What I drive now, you couldn't, you'd have a hell of a time speeding in town with it. It's a 2007 piece of garbage. I've got over 40 grand in that piece of shit. He wasn't a cop then. I don't believe. Nope. He was not. He was a police officer when my granddaughter did what she did. And he didn't know anything about it. I didn't call him and tell him. I got told if she'd have used my pistol, and I still have that 25 semi-automatic. It was made in 1952. My husband brought it back from one of his buddies over in Vietnam. And I can't get the spring replaced. That thing would be worth big bucks if I could get the damn spring replaced in it. So that it would load from the magazine. On the initial. On the first round. And I still have it. And I got told, well, if that was my weapon, I was going to prison. The cop didn't even see the thing laying in the snow. And I got people on YouTube saying, oh, she's got crime scene photos. Yeah, I sure as shit do. Happened in my backyard. So, yeah, I got crime scene photos. Abe don't have them. I got them. Abe never had them. Abe didn't know nothing about it when it happened. So when they found, when they took her off in an ambulance, cop was there, and the weapon in that was used, he was standing right there, and he didn't even see the weapon laying in the snow. I picked it up, laid it in my hand, had the barrel pointing underneath my thumb, away from him and away from me. It was cocked. And I said, you might want to take this with you. And he said, don't point that at me. And I said, you stupid son of a bitch, is it pointed at you? You're standing face to face with me. It's laying in my left hand with the barrel pointed towards my left thumb with my palm up. Is it pointed at you? You stupid son of a bitch. And then when they found out whose pistol it was, because I still had mine, took mine out of the closet. They took it down to do ballistics test on it. And the cop that went to fire it in the barrel, you know, in the water tank, couldn't get it to load around. You had to do it. You had to do it by hand. The first round. And he said, this weapon didn't kill anybody. This weapon won't even fire. Because the spring is no good in this 25 semi. You have to literally push it in with your finger. The first one, the first round. And they never did anything to the owner of the weapon. But I was going to go to prison. Yeah. And I gave that to the detective. Took the detective in and showed him where it was. It's not my weapon. Oh, sure, you had to carry all your books. You had to get them out of your locker and carry all your books all day long. Yep. We had lockers. You had to have some place to put your jackets and stuff. So we had lockers, but we had to have our own separate padlocks. I remember having to carry that whole damn pile for seven classes every stinking day, all day long. The only time you had time to go to your locker was lunch. And if you only had 30 minutes for lunch, and if you went to your locker during lunchtime, you didn't have time for lunch because lunch was in the basement, cafeteria was in the basement, and my locker was on the third floor. Well, I didn't have a bike. I had an old 53 Chevy. I had an old 53 Chevy. What's your first car you ever drove, regardless if you owned it or just drove it? What is the very first car that you ever drove? What year and what make and model? I always took a sack lunch. I never bought hot lunch. Never bought hot lunch. Hot lunch was 50 cents. And man, Miss Joe says a 66 Ford Galaxy. The first car I ever drove was a 1949 Chevy Coupe. Stick. So the first car I ever drove was a straight stick on a tree. Ford Thunderbird, set in 1972. Wow. One of my kids were born in 72. That's a long time ago. 49 was a long time ago, too. You sure miss that Thunderbird. I'll bet you do. A 79 Chevy Monte Carlo. I always wanted to drive a Montego. I never did. Yeah, I never did that. I used to be one of the idiots standing on the sidewalk with my car parked out somewhere. I never did the drag racing crap. Hey, Nemesis, welcome. What's the first car you ever drove, Nemesis? Whether you owned it or not, just drove it. Yeah, they were. I think Montego was a beautiful car. I thought it was a beautiful car. What did your first car that you bought cost? My 53 Chevy didn't have a scratch on it. And my dad bought it from a private owner for 25 bucks. We owned a yellow Cadillac one time, 4-door Cadillac, 1,200 bucks. My first one was 25 bucks. That was that 53 Chevy. And my dad always held it over my head. $1,000 for Miss Joe. Wow. I had a 69 Camaro. That suckered shit get too. It'd take off on a dime and give you 8 cents change. That was after the 53 Chevy, though. I was married when I had my Camaro. And mine was baby blue. Yep. Fantastic. What's your favorite movie star in movies? Who's your favorite movie star? And you know what did they normally play as? Yeah, I spent 25 bucks for that car. 25 bucks. An old woman had it, and it didn't have a scratch on it, brand new tires. It was 25 bucks. Sam Elliott? Yeah, he was hot, wasn't he, when he was young? Oh, God, he was hot. Gene Hackman, huh? Jack Nicholson? Katie Holmes? You ever watch the series The Ranch with Sam Elliott in it? Clint Eastwood, yeah, God, he was gorgeous as a. He doesn't live too far. He's got a ranch out here. He doesn't live too far from me. He doesn't stay there all the time. He lives elsewhere, but he's got a ranch out here. Jennifer Lopez. Robert Duvall and John Wayne are my favorite too. What's the best movie effects movie have you ever seen? Robert Duvall and Robert Downey Jr. played in a movie called The Judge. You guys got to see that if you've never seen it. I liked American Sniper too. But the best one with effects. Oh. It was called Avatar. And I went to the movies, and I went with my son-in-law and daughter here, and I saw the one at the movies with the special effects. And that's for me, Avatar was the best one, the best movie I've ever seen with special effects. Nemesis is okay. He's okay. I like Nemesis. And I like Abe. Broken Trail was a good movie with Duvall in it too. I like Westerns, if you haven't figured that out. I actually got a clock with all the movies that John Wayne ever made. A friend of mine died and left that for me, that clock. Walking Tall was a good movie. The Duke, yeah. Yep. Yep. I've got several things on DVD or DVR. And I like to watch movies that I like to watch. And man, I'm telling you, I like that Avatar movie. That was a good movie. God, that was a good movie. Yeah, Big Jake was an awesome movie. Yep. I like The Cowboys. I think that's the best movie that Wayne ever made. The Cowboys. And that happened to have been one of the movies he died in. The Shootist was also a damn good movie. That was the last movie he ever made. Magnificent Seven was an awesome movie. Yep. True Grit was pretty good. Yep. God, what was he was a Russian. God, what was his name? He played in the Magnificent Seven. There's several different versions of the Magnificent Seven. But he played in Magnificent Seven. Green Beret he was good in too, yeah. Yeah, Mary Poppins, yep. Young Guns, yep. Charles Bronson was excellent too, yep. Yep. Foul Ball. Never saw that one. I've got to get new batteries in this damn chair. Takes 2 car batteries. They're $135 a piece. Good, Bad, and the Ugly. That was a pretty good movie, yeah. Yep. I can see this guy in my mind's eye. He was a Russian. I believe he was Russian. He played in one of the Magnificent Seven movies. He played in The King and I. Um, The Rifleman, Gunsmoke, The Dirty Dozen. Yeah, Lee Marvin, sure. Ernest Borgnine, he was good. You know, Abe actually got to meet Ernest Borgnine. Did you know that? He was in Rockford one time. Old Reverend Like the Sun Bum. Yep. Rosy Red Lips. I don't know. I just can't think of his name right now. I can see him in my mind's eye. He was bald. He didn't have any hair in these movies. He was bald. And he always wore black. Yep, you touched the taillight. I remember that. Reverend is the big slayer on YouTube next to Little Ricky. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yul Brynner, thank you. Yul Brynner, that's his name. God, that guy was hot. He died with lung cancer, and I can remember a TV commercial that he put up when I was younger. And he said, "Don't smoke." Did anybody besides me see that commercial that he put up, Yul Brynner? I can remember that. He had oxygen tubes in his nose. And he sat there and he's looking right dead in the camera. And he said, "I'm telling you, people, don't smoke. You're going to kill yourself if you smoke." I really liked Yul Brynner. Man, he was good. He was, to me, he was as hot and good looking as Clint Eastwood when he was young. You guys remember watching the movie with Clint Eastwood, Two Mules for Sister Sarah? You can still see that on YouTube. Yep. Hey, Sugar Crits. I didn't like this lady's political outviews, but oh Jesus, what's her name now? It just blew right out of my mind. Her and her dad were in the movies. God almighty. My favorite music is artist is Sade. I love that. I love that music. Jane Fonda, thank you. Jane Fonda and her dad. I didn't appreciate Jane Fonda's political views, but I thought she was a good actress. Thank you, Miss Joe. I had her name in my mind, but then started talking instead of just saying it. You get older, you have a tendency of doing that crap. It'll come back, but it would have took me a few minutes, but it would have come back. Robert Redman, oh God, yes, he was hot. Jesus Christ, that man was hot. Oh God, was he hot when he was young. Remember when he played the I don't remember the name of the movie, but he played the warden in a prison. Robert Redmond. Oh God, he was good looking. They don't make movies like they used to, and I don't believe that they have actors that are worth the tinker's damn anymore. They can't match them. Oh, Trump said, would you give it a rest? Yep. Brubaker, that's it. Brubaker, thanks, Abe. That's the name of that movie, Brubaker. Redford, not Redmond. That's right, Redford. Sorry, Nemesis. Robert Redford. God, he was hot. He was so damn good. Remember when he did the Horse Whisperer movie? I mean, that was all bullshit. It was a fake movie, but if it would be true, would be awesome. He did a Horse Whisperer. Brad Pitt when he God, the movie, it's a war movie about World War II. Brad Pitt stars in it, and he dies in the end. And out of that whole tank, they were in a tank, and oh Jesus! And I just watched it the other night again. Oh, wait a minute. It's called Fury. It's called Fury. Fury. It was made in 2014. And he was leading his crew into Nazi Germany. That's right. I like Emo. Emo's okay. I mean, we've had our arguments. We've had our arguments. Emo and I have had our arguments. But if I wouldn't have listened to a bunch of goddamn trolls, I wouldn't have had the problem with Emo that I had with Emo, so it's my fault. Brad Pitt is one hot sucker too. Yeah. You need to, and Fury is still playing on YouTube. You got to watch that movie. Diana says Emo is cool. What happened to Kumanina Ascari? Don't know. Don't know. The one with Brad Pitt in it is he's a tank commander, and that's when they faced Germany. It was a World War II movie, and they faced the Germans had a tank that was basically unbeatable. The only way that you could disable that tank that the Germans had was shoot it in the rear end. Basically, you couldn't hit it from the front and hurt it. Yeah, Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt in Seven. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, it's 2:05. I got to get out of here. I got to go kick. My buddy out out of his room and get the hell out here and get to cooking. About ready for that damn cheeseburger. Yep. But you got to see that movie. It's still playing, man. It's still playing. Fury. Fury. Driving Miss Daisy with Morgan Freeman. That's another good one. What's for dinner? I'm going to have a cheeseburger and some, I don't know. He wants to cook fries in the air fryer. I don't know. Yeah, 2 hours and 5 minutes. 2 hours and 6 minutes now. So I got to get out of here, guys. I really do. I can hear Snowball out there crunching away. It's supper time. 7 o'clock. Five after, so. I want you to pay attention to the picture of me in there that was made by, oh God, what's her name? She's passed. In my outro, there's a picture of me, and the only thing that is me in that picture is my hair and my face. That's it. Betsy Peeler made that picture for me. Because that's what I said back then at that time. So. Yeah, Roseanne was pretty good for the Connors, yeah. Yep. Later, guys. We'll catch you later. I got to get out of here. I got to get my buddy out of the room in there. Get him cooking. Everybody have a great evening. We'll catch you again tomorrow night. I got to set up some more streams. 73, everyone. Let me put that in there. 73, and hopefully you all know what 73 means. So we'll catch you guys later, and I'm going to end the stream now. See you tomorrow night. Ta-ta.
Viewer discretion is advised.
They just think it's so funny. No.
We are federales, you know, the mountain police.
If you're the police, where are your badges?
Badges? We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.